Hey, folks, you know who this is? Big Bass Billy. Now, it seems to me that there's some people that kind of aren't too sure on how to fish. No one's ever taught them, or they just haven't had the time to get out there on the water and experience it. Myself, I think it is one of the best things that God Himself ever gave us to enjoy the great outdoors and the animals involved in the great outdoors. Now, a lot of us started off with push button reels. Now, some people say close faced. Myself, I say spin cast. That is the proper term for these kind of reels. Now, this right here is a Zebco 33 Tactical. It's a combo, 6-foot medium rod, and they come with a reel. It's a nice handle on the rod where you grab back here two-handed, give it a fling, and you hit the button when you go to cast it. I'll get more into that. Now, we're going to do the rigging. Now, the easiest way to fish is to just simple live bait, float, sinker, hook, let it sit out there, wait for them to come to you. Now myself, I caught quite a bit of bass today with a worm. That's a plastic worm, and a crankbait. I'll show that in a moment. Now, some people, they like the old-timey red and white bobbers with the spring. Them are great, but the downfall is however deep you want to go, that's how far you have to set it. What I'm going to show you is called a slip bobber. You take this little string right like this. It's got a knot in it and a straw. You thread the line through that. Now, just the latter part of last month, I turned 47. So, I'm kind of thinking I might be ready for bifocals, so be patient with me. So now, you pull the straw out of it to where there's the straw, and then here's the line. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this other rod out of the way because it's taking up some of the view of the camera. I'll bring that back here in a moment. Now, you grab a hold of both tag ends of the yellow line, pull them tight. See how that made that knot? We'll cut them tags off here later. Pull that up the line. Now, to keep that from going through, you have to take a bead. A lot of times, there's bob stops, what that's called. They come with the bead on it. Well, I don't have those beads and they're kind of small. These beads, you can get them all different size, and I can see the hole in this better. So I take the line through the hole, whoops, of the bead, whoops, this might take a moment. Like I said, I think I'm about ready for bifocals. Then you thread that up the line. There's the bead. Now is the little float. The littlest float you can get away with is the best. That shows the fish that they have the least amount of resistance they're going to feel. Because as this float is floating on the water and the fish comes by and it goes to grab the hook, is going to feel the resistance of the water against this float. You don't want it to be some big gargantuan thing. Like, now depending on the species of fish you go after, they can handle it. But there's these floats also. High visibility yellow. But back to the classic red and white. And now you thread the line in this. Thread it in there nice and easy. And that goes up, boop, on the line. Now, the cheapest and the easiest sinkers to get is what they call a split shot. See that? Right there is where you would pinch it open when you go to pinch it closed. I'll show you a trick on that here in a minute. Some people like to pinch that on their line. Yeah, that's good. But I don't want that to be anywhere between me and the fish on my line. I don't want that to make a weak spot. So what I do, here's a simple J hook. It don't have a bait keeper barb or nothing, but these hooks are cheap at Walmart. I take and I tie a Palomar knot. Take the line through the hook once, pull it out, because the eye of the hook is so small. And then thread it back through again. Come on. Goodness. Well, like I said, I think I'm about ready for bifocals. Oop, thought I had it. Maybe I need bigger hooks. Wait a minute. Because sometimes you'll see people with all different knots they have. Sometimes they'll be the clenched knot, San Diego jam knot, this and that and the other, whatever. And it's taking a while. There we go. Whoops. Well, dang on it. It should be easy with this red line. By the way, the red line is the easiest line to see, it should be, compared to clear monofilament. This is taking a while. This is the first spot where patience comes in handy for fishing. There it goes. It's in there. Now with the Palomar knot, you just double the line, okay? Now you make a simple overhand knot. And here's the loop. You bring the hook back through the loop you just created. And then as you pull it tight, moisten with some saliva, what they call it. And there you go. Now the tag end, you're going to save that. I take the tag end, and this is where I take my split shot. And And then, I wouldn't recommend this, but I don't have pliers right now. I just bit the split shot. See how it closed up on the line? And now, to make sure, I make a double overhand knot to secure the sinker. And then clip off the tag in. Again, I wouldn't recommend teeth, but I don't have scissors right now. So now what you have is a bobber, a bead, the bob stop, the hook, and the sinker. To where in the water, it's going to look like this. When you go to cast it, it's going to be like this. But in actuality, when it hits the water, that marks the depth. Because now, the bobber can't go past this. So, it's actually going to be like this in the water. It'll be floating like this. Here's your bait. And here's the bobber floating on the surface. Now you notice when you tie that Palomar knot and bring the tag in back in through the eye of the hook, your hook is almost perfectly horizontal to the bottom. That's great for if you want to hook a minnow, shad, shiner, whatever. I'll use it for worms too. Now, some people say, where do I keep my terminal tackle or hooks and such? Well, at Christmas time, my wife was wondering, what's she going to buy me? You know, it has to be something with fishing, knowing Big Bass Billy. Well, right here we have what I like to call tackle totes. And what a tackle tote is, let me drop the hook in that for a minute. What the tackle tote is, it has several compartments to where you put the beads, bobbers, hooks, sinkers, so on, right? I'm kind of running out of stuff, as you can see. Now, I'm going to close that. Back to the casting, okay? I want to take this rig and I'm going to hook it. And see, here's a nice thing about the Zebco 33. Any Zebco 33. See that right there? That's a already made in hook holder. Or even on the handle of the rod right there. In that little hole right there, I put the hook as a hook holder. Now I'm going to reel that in and then listen. You hear this? Well, it ain't doing it right just now. When you hear that, it's letting the drag out. There's a click in there. So, here, listen. Now, with these, if you don't have a bobber and you like to just, what I call dead stick it, you just cast it out, leave it sit. There's a bait clicker on these reels. And that's right there. The bait clicker. You turn that on. Now, as the fish grabs it, listen. You hear it? Oh crap, I might have a big one on. Nah, just kidding. Let me turn that back off. I'm going to tighten it up again. When you go to cast these, okay, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Push the button, turn your wrist, it's all on the wrist and the elbow. Fling it. When you get to fling it, right at that 11 o'clock hour, 12, 11, 10, so on. Let go of the button, and the line will go out. and then just re-engage the reel. Let the float sit. When you start to see this float moving, when it goes under, set the hook. You got him on. Okay. Now that's enough of that. Now I had another rod and reel here. I was going to go over that also. There's so many different ones. You know, this is the one I've caught my bass on. It's a spinning reel. Some folks might say open face, open spool, whatever. Okay. This reel is designed to hang underneath the rod. I haven't recently, but there was sometimes years ago I would see people hold it like this and reel it in. Don't do that. That just shows that, well, I don't know what. And the thing that's nice about this is it has a little trigger right here. You put your finger under the line, boom, the bail opens up. You hold the line with your finger, just lightly little tension on the first digit of your finger. See there? You bring it back with two hands. I'm in my bedroom now, so this is a 6.5 foot rod, so what noise you're hearing is hitting the ceiling. Bring it back, and then when you get back to that 10, 11 o'clock hour again, let the line go, and it comes off the spool. As that bait flies through the air, bobber, whatever you have on, when it hits the water, close this with your hand. You can close it with your hand or with the turn of the handle. I like to do turn of the hand because the bail springs and other mechanisms in here is less wear and tear than if I just turn the handle and automatically do it. Now, when I caught them bass, I was using what we call a crankbait. Basically, it's a minnow or bait fish imitation. This right here. My wife picked this out at Bass Pro Shops. See the pretty colors? Green, yellow, pink, and red hooks. Apparently that gets the fish's attention. Well, it must have got their attention today. Now this bill that I'm holding it right here, this goes through the water and it digs, it dives. Now as it dives, it'll swim back and forth like the motion of a bait fish. So technically, this kind of bait, lure, whatever you want to call it, is just a simple cast and retrieve. Now you could put a few little motions in there, right, to really get the fish to hit it, like I did today. You can cast. It's called pause and jerk, or what I like to call it. When you grab this, you split your fingers like this, almost like that guy on Star Trek, you know, live long and prosper. And then right there in the middle, what it is you reel, you pull, and then bring the rod back and reel. You're reeling in the slack, but you're moving the bait with your rod, like plastic worms. Move it with the rod, reel up the slack. Speaking of plastic worms, let's get to another one. Now, I just bought these recently at, you know, you'll love what's in store at Big R on Cable Road. I told my wife, I said, there's two colors. I'll let you pick it, baby. She picked this one. I'm guessing why. Pretty pink. Now, oh, I almost forgot. The main reason I'm making this video is for two lovely little girls in Meridian, Mississippi, Angel and Racheal. Because I was told by their mother that no one really told them how to fish. This way, they'll have the knowledge. They can get out there, catch a fish for the fun, and then bring it home. Hey, Daddy, we got dinner. No McDonald's tonight. Now, with the plastic worm, it's a whole separate deal than the slip bobber, live bait, or the crankbait. These I like to Texas rig. Now, how I Texas rig is I will take, with this particular model, I will take a 4/0 VMC extra wide gap worm hook. And all it is I hold the worm, bring it down into the hook until that bend. Pop it out. Then I bring it up, the shaft of the hook, turn it, and then bring it up to the eye of the hook, past the knot, okay? And then I'm going to go like this. See where the point of the hook is? That's where you want that hook to go into the worm at. So what you do is you grab the worm, bring it up like this, bring it down. You want this worm, well, it's been in the bag in a while, so it's got a curl in it. You want this worm as straight as possible for the presentation or how you show it to the fish. Now, you can skin hook it if you want. Which, boop, just like that. Just hide that point in that soft plastic right there. Now, I can take a bullet weight, worm weight. I don't have any right now. That's my fault. This worm, when it's on the bottom, is going to float like this when it's on the bottom. And you just barely twitch it. And that tail's going to come alive. I'm telling you. Now, I'm going to put that right there for now. How you could tell the strike with that is you're fishing the worm. You know, you're about 10 o'clock to maybe midnight. Just moving the worm. Maybe just this little twitching. And then reel up to slack. When you feel that bite, you know he's got it. Or she. Reel, take the rod down, reel in just a little bit. Set the hook. I'm telling you, you'll be in the ride for your life, baby. Now the crankbait, they ain't no bob or nothing needed for that. You're gonna tell when they hit. That crankbait's gonna be swimming, and they're gonna grab it. Right. That's all it is. I tell you what. I hope you take this lesson to heart and to your head. Get out there in the water. I know what lake is down there. Okeechobee, baby. Alright. We'll see you next time. This is Big Bass Billy signing out.